Hi, I'm Dr. Mike at Blue Waters Health Center. Thanks so much for joining in and listening. As today, we're just going to kind of cover the three worlds that we live in every day. These are vitally important for healing. Most people don't even know that they exist, and they're really not. They don't really exist in a separate sense, as it is just one world. But it's a way to describe how this healing, this creative process takes place, and how we can encounter illnesses that we don't know how we got. Because there's really only three ways we get sick. One way is a physical cause. We roll an ankle, we get in a car accident, we lift something up, we fall down. That's a physical cause of our illness or our injury or whatever we have. Then we have a chemical or nutritional cause. That's the diet we eat, the drugs we take, legal or illegal, any environmental toxins, that would be a chemical cause. And the last one is this emotional cause. We're upset with someone that, family member, a parent, a spouse, children, maybe someone passed away, maybe we don't like our job, just frustrations in those areas that can lead to health problems. And so when we look at these three worlds, how this relates to that is we're going to break this apart into three worlds to explain how this disease or this illness starts. First, we have to entertain an idea, and an idea exists in the etheric plane or the etheric world. And when we entertain an idea, it's usually something that irritates, something that disturbs, or something that interests us. So say your child is playing at an athletic event. They're a part of, say, an AU team or a high school team or middle school team or whatever, and they're not getting playing time. And so your image is, my child isn't being treated fairly. And it disturbs you enough to make you think about it on a consistent basis. So now we're getting a repetition of this. And so your thoughts, this is the astral plane now. On this astral plane, you start to think about how this isn't fair. This coach is a jerk. This coach doesn't know what they're doing. My child's better than this. My child's better than this player or that player. I don't understand why they're not getting more playing time. And some of those reasons may be valid. They absolutely may have truth to them. Some of them may not. But what happens is on the corporeal plane, now we have to live with this anger and frustration, which is going to create muscle contraction. And as it plays through our body, anger is an aspect of fear. So now we look at, okay, so what does fear do to the body? The fear encompasses the fight or flight mechanism. So we're going to be breathing shallower and more rapidly. We're going to raise blood sugars. We're going to raise blood pressure. The blood is going to go away from our digestive tract and into our arms and our legs so that we begin to either fight what's going on or we're going to run away from what's going on. And it's the whole body is getting amped up for this fight or flight to happen. And that's what happens in the anger. Now you wonder, how long can this go on before it starts to break down tissue? What can happen is everything can just kind of crank up, just tighten up in the upper back, especially if you're thinking about it, something like your child not playing, you're thinking about it, everything tightens up. Now you end up with a headache and you don't understand why you're getting headaches every day. And with these muscles tightening up in the neck because you're trying to figure out and think of a solution, maybe you begin to not sleep very well. And so you're tired and you're like, I don't know why I'm tired. I haven't been sleeping well lately. And it's all because it started with an image of my child's not being treated fairly. And it goes through these three aspects, these three worlds, until you have what is at the end is they're not being treated fairly. And now it's producing symptoms on your body. And so we go through things like that every single day. And we may not want the end result. We may not want the headache. We may not want the upset stomach or the restless sleep, but it's all a result of that image that's getting kind of manifested within our world. And so if we have a lot of different symptoms or things that we're not sure how they're connected or related, we have to start going with, what are the things that really irritate or disturb us, or what are the things that really interest us? We go through the list of those things, and it's going to tell us kind of the images that are in our subconscious mind that we've been thinking about, that we've been wanting in our world. Now, you may not want a headache, but if you've been concentrating on how something isn't fair for your child long enough, it can give you a headache. And then you have to live with this headache because it's a headache to see your child sitting there not having fun or your child being frustrated, and you're identifying them with them and how they're feeling. And then we have those same conditions. And so that's how those three worlds exist. They exist there, and they're really not separate worlds, but it's a way to kind of see a picture on how we can start with a premise. We can start with an idea, and we can begin to reason down to that idea until it starts to display symptoms on our body, or it creates irritations within our life. Because if our child isn't playing on that athletic team or in that environment, and we go confront the coach, we're going to go talk to the coach, we're going to tell them that they're dumb and they don't know what they're doing, how do you think that coach is going to respond? They're going to respond with nothing but anger. But that's exactly what you're demonstrating, anger. And like is going to, in turn, get like. You're going to reap what you sow. And so now you're going to get anger in return. And then you're going to feel frustrated later on, why did that coach blow up? Why did that coach blow up? Why did they yell at me? Why did they get angry? But you came with anger. That's what you're going to get back. And so when you start to look at how this thing pieces together and how it flows, you can see how actions, and now we get actions and reactions through that process. You really reap what you sow without even knowing that's what you're trying to sow. So if you want something different in your life, and you want health, and you want more happiness, and you want just more peace throughout the way your body feels and your world, start to think of good things. Look for the good in each situation. Look for the good in every person and individual. And then as you do that, your thoughts naturally have to follow. If you're looking for the good in that situation, your thoughts are going to be positive. What has to happen on that corporeal plane? You have to have the good. You have to have the positive. And the body always heals and maintains health in that positive space. So just start to think of those three worlds, especially when you don't feel good, and think of, where did I get out of balance? Where did I make a mistake? And then what do I need to do different in order to help my body heal, repair, and recover? Thanks so much for joining in. This is Dr. Mike Patten with Blue Waters Health Center.